Let's focus on the residential energy credits, specifically how they are tested on the exam. You will absolutely see questions that try to confuse the energy-efficient home improvement credit under Section 25C with the residential clean energy credit under Section 25D. The key to getting these questions right is memorizing the specific limits and qualifying expenses for each. First, let's break down the energy-efficient home improvement credit, Section 25C. This credit is for smaller upgrades like windows, doors, insulation, and energy audits. The exam will test your knowledge of its very specific and somewhat confusing annual limits. The credit is calculated as 30% of the cost of qualifying expenditures, but it's subject to strict dollar caps. There is a total credit limit of $1,200 per year for most improvements. For example, if a taxpayer spends $5,000 on new energy-efficient insulation, their credit is not $1,500, which is 30% of the cost. It's capped at the annual maximum of $1,200. An exam question will present this exact scenario. The test makers create further complexity by including per-item limits that fall under this $1,200 umbrella. For instance, the credit for new exterior windows is capped at $600, and the credit for exterior doors is capped at $500. So, if a client spends $4,000 on windows, the credit is limited to $600, not the $1,200 overall cap. Now here is the most common trap. Certain items have a separate higher limit, specifically electric or natural gas heat pumps, heat pump water heaters, and biomass stoves have their own annual credit limit of $2,000. This is separate from the $1,200 limit. A likely exam question will involve a taxpayer who installs both insulation and a new heat pump. If they spend enough to maximize both, they can claim the $1,200 for the insulation and the $2,000 for the heat pump, leading to the maximum possible Section 25C credit for the year of $3,200. The exam will test if you know to combine these two separate limits. Also, remember this credit is non-refundable and has no carry-forward provision, meaning if the credit exceeds tax liability, the excess is lost forever. Next, we have the Residential Clean Energy Credit, Section 25D. This is for the big-ticket items. Think solar panels, solar water heaters, geothermal heat pumps, and battery storage technology. The calculation here is much simpler, which is why the exam focuses on differentiating it from Section 25C. The Section 25D credit is 30% of the total cost of the new system, and crucially, there is no overall dollar limit. If a taxpayer spends $40,000 on a solar panel system for their principal residence, their credit is a full $12,000, assuming they have enough tax liability. This credit is also non-refundable, but unlike 25C, any unused portion can be carried forward to future tax years. This carry-forward provision is a key tested difference. To keep these straight, use this mnemonic. Think C is for capped components, and D is for dynamic dollars. Section 25C is for smaller building components like windows and insulation, and it's capped with strict annual dollar limits. Section 25D is for large, dynamic energy systems like solar, and it gives you a straight percentage of the dollars you spend with no cap. Memorizing that distinction will help you correctly categorize expenses and apply the right limits on the exam.